Well, welcome to it's NWB. No, wait a minute. NHB. Is it NHB? No holds barred. It's NHB, really. I'll be your host, Dr. Alan Chan. I'm not going to give you my real name this first show, but maybe you people who are watching can weasel it out of me for a few bucks a little later. And we have quite a panel tonight. Some regular cast members, and as well as I'll let her say her own name because I tried it before, and it's I want to say it one way, but I won't say it. And let's start with her. Go ahead.
Okay, so hi, my name is Ilsa. I am a comedian here I'm coming from Chicago, Illinois. I also have a podcast as well, and yeah, really excited to be here. Don't really know what to expect.
Well, buckle your seatbelts because this is no holds barred.
You speak Spanish?
I like the way
too? You speak
A
Spanish?
little,
bit?
un
Okay.
poquito, lo siento.
Come on, what Mexican does not speak Spanish? Although I'm Chinese, I don't speak Chinese, but what Mexican doesn't speak Spanish?
A lot
Come
of
on.
Californian Mexicans don't speak, and Tex-Mex, they don't speak Spanish.
All right, we'll get into that later. And that's and because he's talking already, I might as well say that it's Julio Rodriguez. Or are you still going by Julio? What are you doing?
Nah, just Julio. I dropped everything. It's not important anymore. Was I a comedian? I always try to be funny. Did I make a career out of it? No, it didn't work out. It's like I wanted to be the Beatles, that didn't work out. I wanted to be Elvis, that didn't work out either. So comedy is just one of those things. I don't write anything. I never wrote a stick of nothing. I never wrote a routine. I never did any. In the 31 years doing stand-up, I never wrote anything. I go out there and just wing it. And most of it, I got better at it. And then, it was good in the middle, and then now towards the end, I'm horrible again. But it's okay. It's all good, But
let's give him a round of applause on that introduction for himself. Basically saying, I'm a loser. I was at it a long time. I never wrote anything. Gee, I wonder why I didn't make it.
Yeah, that's another thing. How come I didn't make it? I did real stand-up. This is real stand-up. You don't write stand-up. You're supposed to perform stand-up.
Okay, doctor. Okay, professor. We'll get back to you. Thank you. And I'm going to introduce the panelists on our show who is coming in from San Diego, California, but she has an 818 number, which I still don't get, which I used to live in the Valley part-time in the 90s and early aughts. And you have an 818 number. And I said, do you live in the Valley? And you're like, no, I live in San Diego. She calls herself JT, but I see on the screen it says Jamie. So introduce yourself and tell us why you have two names like that.
So my name is Jamie Thomas, but I do go by JT. It's much cooler, in my opinion. I live in San Diego and I'm an aspiring actress. So that's something I've been working on for the past year or so now. And I'm excited to be here with Julio and Richard and
Ilsa.
We're going to get it.
Ilsa. Okay, I got to remember that. Because that sounds like a Russian.
Casablanca?
Casablanca?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ilsa.
Ilsa Lund.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ricky's
That's
woman.
a beautiful name.
Ilsa.
I said it sounded
Ilsa
Russian.
Lund, yeah, from Casablanca.
Yeah, okay, Ilsa.
German name, not German.
She's not even German.
No.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Julio is not really a Spanish name. It's not. It's a month.
Really?
Yeah, the month of July. That's what it is. It just means July, Is that right?
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
JT, is that right? No.
That's cool, Julio.
So now that we're here, of course, we want Alan to introduce himself because, he is our host and we want to know what he's doing. Get it, Alan, tell him.
Well, the resume is too long to really go into, so I'll just give you a few spot highlights, and as these shows go on, people will learn what I'm about, who I am, and what I do. And basically, I'm a lawyer. I'm also an entertainer. I've known Julio for many years. We both did comedy together. I've run improv groups on the West Coast and the East Coast, Ilsa. I even once took a trip by myself to Chicago just because I wanted to see Second City and see their setup and all that. And I love improv, but you know, the COVID has killed it for us. And we tried improv on the net and it didn't work. At least I didn't like it. I'd rather have that, you know, interpersonal feel and read the audience, read the performers and so forth. And also I do music. I had a band and blah, 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 blah. But for the moment, I'm stuck with Julio in the same category.
You forgot to tell him about that show that you did. 7 hours long. We had a packed house and nobody left with the Alan Chan band. Ask him.
Yeah, it was great. Ask me. It was great.
Let's hear about that.
I say it was
it?
great. It was great. It ended with a bikini contest and it started with a puppet show.
With a puppet show.
And a sing along. So you can imagine. And in between was like, how many people did have in my band? It must have been like 25.
Yeah, it was
We had guest singers. We had people coming in playing violin. I mean, it was wild. It was really more like a Broadway show in a way. But anyway, we'll leave that where it is. So
Hey,
I've done
my
a
wife
lot.
Talks about that. That was like 15, 16 years ago. She said, remember.
You know, these ladies are going to feel like, oh my God, these guys are so old.
We're so old.
But you
Oh
keep
my
rubbing it
God.
in. Why do you have to keep rubbing it in?
Hey, look, you know, it is what it is. Hey, we're old enough to be your grandfathers. It's good. Don't worry about it. Like, it's all good, you know, right?
are
Your
a little
grandfather's
up there.
like, well, he's not as hip as me, right? Your grandfather's not like.
Hey, I put my white hat on for this show, so that's how
I
hip I am.
know the hat game is strong.
I actually had an African American gentleman in Flushing. He saw me dressed like this, and of course, I had even a slicker overcoat on. And he was like complimenting me on the street, and I felt wonderful. He was like, "Damn, man, you looking good," and that was great. And I'm not even a woman or anybody he'd be interested in, you know. You know what I mean?
You got catcalled.
So how do I look, ladies?
Y'all are looking sharp. I like the hat.
Yeah, and I got the blue glasses.
I like those.
Period.
Alan has some, you know, he's changed a lot. You know, we're like, so now we wear hats because, you know, like I ain't got no hair, but he still has hair. But, you know, like, so, you know, you wear a hat because, you know, when you shave it off, you kind of like, you know, you want to cover it up because, you know, they'll call you different names, you know, like dickhead, stuff like that. You know, you don't want that. You know, look, it's bad. You know, it's horrible. It's a horrible thing, but, you know, it's a good thing. Don't worry about it. It's like, you know, but I mean, I don't like doing that in front of you young girls because, you know, you're pretty young. You're like, I got kids older than you guys, you know.
There he goes again.
Here we go. Here we go.
You know what? That's the purpose of this show. You know, we bridge generations. We go with full diversity, and like I said, the white girl is coming on in a little while.
White people
Girl,
are
full
never late. That's the
diversity.
problem.
She's on black people time, even though she's
I mean,
white. so.
they're the ones that make up all the rules, and she's breaking her own rules. I don't understand that. You know, white people. You know, come on, man. Like, really?
Well, she is from New York City.
Yeah, I
now.
thought white people were early.
I thought so too.
Well, they're also the ones that produce too. They do the production. Wow. You know, yeah.
What do you mean by that? They do the production. Whoa.
Well, you know, like they're the ones that run everything. You know, like this.
Oh, is that right? Oh, they run everything.
My show, you know, it's my show. You know, come on, you know, like, come on, equality. Why do you think black people are upset? I'm not equal to them. I'm not equal to white people. I'm like, why would you want to be equal to white people? You run better, you jump higher, you sing better, you're funnier.
That's true.
Plus, you do a whole bunch of shit. You got more tenacity than any group I ever known in the history of the world, right? But yet you want to be equal to the white guy. I don't get that. That's like stepping down. You understand what I mean? Like, you know, like stay.
No,
there.
I don't understand what you mean.
Yeah,
but
well,
go
you know,
ahead.
like, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
I just feel that equality thing is bullshit. I think that's just personally. I think you have to feel the way you feel and don't care about anybody else. You got to care about you. Is that right or wrong?
I don't
What
know.
do you think, Isa? What do you think? Because, you know, she has therapy. She's messing with her hair and everything.
She's just trying to take in all that you said, and she doesn't know which
I
at
was
which
like,
point.
you're comparing physicality. You're not talking about the social issues that are behind that entire movement. Like, you
A
know,
movement now. Now we got
you're
movement.
talking, yeah,
Wow.
like,
Okay.
yeah, you're just talking about why they're better athletes. You're not talking about how they get looked at when they walk into a restaurant and how they're
So what?
treated.
don't eat there. Don't spend your money there. It's real simple, man. It's like, you don't want me in your restaurant. I ain't spending my money with
It's
you.
not fair though.
Yeah,
You
it is
know,
fair.
like I
It
want
is
to be
fair.
able to walk into a really nice, like 5-star restaurant and be treated well.
You
and
will,
not
they'll
live
treat you
Tip,
well.
tip the maitre d. That starts the treatment where you're going to be treated well when you tip the
Do
maitre
you know
d.
something? I get it. I get it, and I think it's stupid. Like, I'm gonna let you in because you're not like me. But that happens in almost any group. It's not just here. The only problem with the United States is that we have so many groups that they do that, and then people are like, well, that's not right. I'm like, look, nothing is right. Life ain't fair. That's just the way it is. People are not gonna change. People that are racist or prejudiced, they're not gonna change because you say they want to. Nobody's gonna change.
I think they can.
No, they won't.
I think a lot of people have changed.
No,
Like
they won't. They just
a
won't say
lot.
anything. They just won't say anything, Ilsa.
That's the start.
No,
Just
but-
keep your mouth shut
no,
if you're
but-
gonna be rude.
But
Keep
you
your
don't
I
get
agree
it.
with that.
That's exactly what
Keep your
America
mouth
is about.
shut.
It's
love it.
about it's about you saying and thinking the way you want to think. It doesn't make it right. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that that's what it's all about. You're about to do whatever you want to do. And if you don't like something, then either you make your own or you don't get involved, one or the other. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, like, I don't want to work anywhere where they don't want Hispanics. Why? I don't care. Like, so I guess I'm not going to work here then.
But doesn't that limit your opportunities of what you can do and where you can go?
Opportunities in America come all the time, every single time. One drop, the other one opens up. Always, it's always been that way. What it is that if you're busy worrying about it, then opportunities will go by you, and you're so busy about an opportunity you didn't get, but 5 more just came by, and you're not recognizing them. And all you got to do is do what you want to do. This is the only country in the world that you could be illegal, not speak a word of English, be whatever color you're, black, green, purple, whatever it is, no education, nothing, and still become a millionaire. I can't fathom one country that you could do that with. Not one country. And that's really the gist of it. But when you don't understand because you're still here. But when you go overseas and visit other countries, the way I accidentally did, It's not that I wanted to go visit them. I really don't. But when you see how other people live and the opportunities are just not there, then you might open your eyes and realize, wait a minute, maybe the opportunities here are better. So, but we have so much distraction because there's so much freedom.
That's how I feel when I see the ghettos and I think, wow, there's no opportunity there.
There's opportunities in ghettos. What do you think drug dealers do? There's opportunities.
That shouldn't be your only career path.
No, I mean, there's opportunities in ghettos. What it is that a ghetto is a ghetto. It's like, look, there's opportunities everywhere.
But I think every child has a right to a good education.
Education?
Education, yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah. I mean, but education starts at home. If you're not getting educated at home, it ain't gonna work. I don't care where you go. It's like, and always we call, and I say, quote, all these real smart people that go to Columbia and Yale and
Whoa. Throw out another Ivy League because I went to
they
Columbia.
ain't all that now. They're not
Don't-
all that.
whoa.
They're not all that. As a matter of fact, even like I dealt with doctors for a lot of years, right? And then they know doctoring, but I'm not impressed. I mean, like, I'm impressed that you went to school in the 10 years. I get it, but you take a shit like me. You take off your pants like I do, put them back on the same way. So you're not any really better. What it is that a lot of people are insecure about themselves. So when you're insecure about yourself, then you want to find an excuse why you're insecure. So why not blame it on somebody else? Right? Not now. Young people, especially now, because of all the information that they throw out there, you read a lot. You get influenced a lot. You get a lot of influence. But I haven't got an original thought yet. And we dealt with a lot of young people. And I told we had one on the show that Alan couldn't chant, and she was so vivid.
Alan couldn't what?
Couldn't stand her. Anyway.
No, come on. Now you're
He couldn't stand it.
exaggerating.
He couldn't. No, he's lying. He couldn't stand it.
No. Every woman I love, believe me.
Everything she
Am I
did-
right or wrong? And do I love
everything-
women? Yes.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Okay.
But everything
Don't turn these girls on me.
she quoted on something she read. I'm like, yeah, but who wrote it? Oh yeah, but how do you know?
Where do you expect to get like your education from and learn about other people if you're not reading about it?
Yeah, but how do you know it's true?
You look at the source.
No.
See,
How do you
JT is
know
smart like me. She's smoking electronic because
she's smoking
every
like-
word out of Julio's mouth, you want to say
That-
something
that-
and you
that-
just
that's
put it
bad
in
for
your
you
mouth.
too,
and-
right there. You don't need to do that crap. But anyway, it's like, look.
If I take a long drag and a lot of smoke comes out, something he said really makes me want to go after him.
Yeah.
But I promise myself, this is going to be a fun
Now
time.
remember, Ilsa, you can say whatever you want. You can say, Julio, you know what I think? I think you're an asshole. And I think that's okay. I get it. Look, I understand. It's not a big deal. I'm just saying that we're getting educated by people that say, this is what we need to teach you. But how do you know they're telling you the truth? You don't know.
You look at the source, like I said, you go
Like
to
what
trustable
source?
sources.
Give me one example. Give me one.
Of a trustable source, like
Yeah.
something you can trust.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I trust the New York Times.
New York Times.
Whoa.
We got stories with New York Times. But no, I get, look, I thought the same way. Believe me. I thought this is a credible source, the New York Times, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, these are supposedly sources that should be trusted. But when you trust somebody, it doesn't matter what they say. They can say whatever they want. Like your doctor.
Yeah,
Your doctor-
journalism is always going to be a little bit skewed, but you have to use your brain when you're reading those
That's the
articles to
problem.
know when you're being kind of like,
Yeah.
when you know that the story is skewing a certain way or not.
Okay, like history, like history, right? You talk about history. Why is it that
Well,
everybody?
history,
History on slavery. We can go right to slavery if you want. You want the history on slavery? You don't know how slavery ran. I don't know how it ran because I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I can't tell you. I heard horrible stories.
Yeah, I got.
It's true. It's probably true. But nobody ever heard good stories. Maybe they are, but nobody heard it all before. I'm not saying that it's good to be a slave. Of course not. But I'm just saying
well,
that.
did you read Gone with the Wind?
Yeah, but it was a movie. That wasn't. That's not a. That's not. That's not.
It's a book, yeah, but that was made into a movie, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a story. It's a story. Gone with the Wind. It's a story about in the South.
Yeah, it's a story, but it also
story
shows
Of a man named
kind of like
Clark Gable.
the southern side of like slavery and that whole movement. So kind of like what you're talking about.
It's entertainment.
It is entertainment,
You beat.
but you
All right, if
It's
you don't
from the
mind,
time.
Julio, let Ilsa say her piece, please, because it's been a lot. I'm sure I had time to go downstairs, go into my car, get electronic cigarettes, come back up. I've been puffing on it, and you're still talking. I would love to hear from Ilsa, who technically is an auditioner, and also I want to hear what Jay has to say about some of the things that you've mentioned. So, Ilsa, you may begin, please. You have the floor.
oh my God, I don't know.
I know it's
just
hard.
think that, yeah, I just think that it's not that crazy for people of color to demand respect and people who love people of the same sex, or maybe they identify with the gender that they weren't born with. I mean, we should all look at it like, who the hell cares? Yeah, you're different. So we should just accept you and love you and respect you for who you are.
Okay.
Like at the end of the day, I don't really see why we have to say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. There's opportunities everywhere. If you live in the ghetto, you can become a drug dealer and that's how you can make money. No, that's not the kind of response you should be saying. You should be looking at how the education system is in those quote unquote ghetto areas, because if you do look into how they segregate education in America, it's extremely problematic. And I think that it should start there. I think it should also start with, I think birth control needs to stop being looked down upon as well. Like how we're like extremely overpopulated. And I feel like, and I'm not just talking about like Black people, I'm talking about like white people and like any person in like an economically like bad area. I feel like we need to just do a lot more education on like the repercussions of life and finances, and just get them, just get everybody in a more equal standing. Like I didn't have the best education ever. I'm from the region. I'm from like a poor neighborhood in Indiana. I didn't have a good neighborhood, and I didn't have a good education, and I made it to like a really good school. I got into Indiana University. And when I got there, I realized like, wow, I am not educated. I had a horrible, horrible education. And it wasn't until I met like, it was white people. White people had like the best freaking education. We would talk about like our high school experiences. I'd be like, yeah, there was a fight every single day at lunchtime. And I thought that that was normal. I thought it was normal. And then my white friend from Ohio was like, oh, and she lived in this like big, nice big house in the suburbs and had a great education. She was like, oh, you couldn't even like yell at someone in the hallway. Like you would get immediate detention, or like you would get suspended. I was like, oh my God, you would have to break a person's nose to get detention. Like it needs to start. We need to start looking at education, I think, personally.
Oh, well.
I don't know.
No,
I
that's
don't know if
good.
that made any sense.
Yeah,
That's
that made a
what I
lot of
think.
sense. That made a lot of sense.
Yeah,
But
that
let's go
makes
to
sense.
let's go to JT and her commentary, and then we can have a round robin on it. And
Well, I was fortunate growing up. I went to an all white school pretty much. I went to a nice school. I lived in the suburbs for most of my life. And it wasn't really until, like I've told you guys before, I know I haven't been able to tell her because it's my first time meeting her, but my dad lived in Southeast DC. And when he moved there was when I kind of, realized that things were definitely different in areas like that. And that I was very fortunate and that I did have more opportunity. I truly believe that I had more opportunity growing up where I did in the suburban white area. And I would say that even, it really, the best way I can describe it is it kind of gave me like an identity complex. Like growing up, I was always considered like white or whitewashed or acting white and stuff like that. And it really, I feel like that happens to a lot of minorities. I know this is a little bit off of topic, but it happens to a lot of minorities on the other side. Like, yes, there are people that are less fortunate, like she was explaining, but then there's also the people that feel like they have to completely change themselves to fit in with the area they're around or the people they're around. And that's not something that they should have to do. It should be glamorized to be yourself, that everyone is equal, obviously in a perfect world, that everyone gets that treatment. And I feel like that's what's most important to me when it comes to social justice issues, like she was mentioning earlier. And I also think, going back to what you were saying, Julio, about how just not caring, I feel like that's a little bit of an old school approach, like just
Old
to not
school.
care what
Hey,
people
what you trying to
think.
say? I'm old?
I'm not saying you're
I'm
old.
just messing with you.
maybe
Yeah,
a little
no,
I'll
but
get
you've
that.
been saying it for since the show started, Julio. So
All right. Shut up. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to her. Go ahead.
I want to say I get where you're coming from. I do get it. People's opinions shouldn't phase us. They really shouldn't. But I feel like it goes definitely bigger than people's opinions. It's, for the next generation, kids shouldn't be limited because of the color of their skin. That's something that should be the thing of the past. And I feel like that's what people are more fighting for now, the future and their children, my children, whenever I have them. I definitely don't want them to go through things or feel things that I have felt just for being Black or whatever they will be.
Okay, I don't have any kids. Don't do it. Anyway, so don't do it. You young people, don't do it. You don't need that. I feel, look, I know what you mean. Economically, the reason why ghettos are bad is because usually people that live in the ghetto are not taxpayers. When you have big taxpayers, you're gonna have better schools. I went to the worst ghetto schools in the world. I was Lower East Side Manhattan, You know, I went to junior high school that was horrendous. It was horrendous. It was like you're talking about, you know, the fights in the hallway. It was stabbings. You know, like you're talking about stabbings. You're gonna go outside. You're gonna, and you know, I survived. I'm not a street guy. You know, I wasn't the type of guy to go and fight. And then I had to really talk my way out of a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, nah, you don't need to do that. And why not? You because you're scared, right? I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm scared. That's right. They're like, oh, you're a pussy, right? Yeah, I guess I am. So, you know, what the hell? You know, I'm not going to sit there and like try to, you know, fight. I'm not saying I didn't get into any fights. Of course I did, but it wasn't like.
And then the Civil War broke out.
Yeah,
And
then, you know, and things
yeah,
happen.
and he joined the Confederacy for no reason at all.
Yeah,
It
but
didn't
this
make
is what
any
I
sense.
noticed- This is what I
Makes
noticed
no
about growing up around what we call minorities. First of all, in New York City, we wasn't minorities. We were the majority. Because, you know, in New York City, it was mostly black, Puerto Ricans, a lot. It was tons of them. Number two, the problem that JT had, because she's articulate and she speaks educated, so all of a sudden she has to be white. Why are you giving white people that much credit? That's the part I don't get. Is that
Yeah,
my
I don't
daughter
like
had the
that.
same problem. My daughter had the same problem because she speaks articulate, and that's what even you know, my nephews will say, "Oh, you sound like a white girl," and she didn't get reactive. What she used to do, she used to just stop talking and just walk away. And I'm like, I wasn't that cool about that. You know, I was like, hey, look, you know, because if you sound white, so now you need to have that slang or that ghetto to be cool. Really? A lot of people I know that wanted to be cool are in jail or dead. All right. So, you know, is that where you want to be? No, you want to be where you want to be. And you could do whatever you want to do. Like people that make it, I don't care what color you are. If you're black and you become a millionaire, they're not living around you. They ain't living around me. Where they living at? They're living in the hills up there in a real nice house with a gate around it. But yet they got something to say about how, you know, oh, and you know, our black community is suffering. Yeah, but you're not suffering. You're making $30 million a year. What can you possibly say? You're not living amongst nobody. That's not going to happen. And if you do that, it might still be a problem because now you're in a situation where people hate you because you're successful. Now, I can't blame that on anybody. I can't blame that on white people. I can't blame that on black people. I have to blame that on the person. But if you don't realize that you are you and you got to be, like you said, like I had the same thing. I had insecurities around white people because I figured they were more educated than I was. They spoke a different way and that's okay. But I still got along. I mean, I felt insecure around black people too. What do you think? You know, like I wasn't cool enough. You know, I wasn't that guy. I wasn't the basketball player. I wasn't the athlete, or I wasn't, you know, that guy who talked to, yo, my man, what's going on? It wasn't me. So I felt insecure too. So where does that put me? And I didn't want to be around, you know, my own people because a lot of them at a time when we were growing up, most of my uncles and aunts, they only spoke Spanish. So now you're around an environment that they only speak Spanish, and I don't want to be around that. I just didn't want to be around it because I went to school, everybody spoke English. So you come home, everybody speaks Spanish. And they, oh, but it's good to know two languages. Yeah, but that was something that I was going through as a, you know, my cultural shock. But it doesn't mean that I hate white people anymore, any less, or I hate black people anymore, any less. There are some black people I hate it. Like, I hate you, not because you're black, because you're an asshole. There were some white people I hate, and I'm pretty sure people hated me too. You know, sometimes we just assholes. But you got to create your own environment and don't worry about somebody else's environment because everybody wants to cure or make a fix for somebody else's environment. Don't worry about them. Worry about you. That's you're the number one. And you're in stand-up comedy right now. Nobody cares about you except you. Nobody cares. I don't care how funny. You could be the funniest person in the world. Doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean shit. So you got to do what you got to do for you, not for nobody else. And this is the problem. Everybody wants to be social workers. Oh, be social workers. All right. I don't want to help nobody. I mean, if you need help and I'm there and I can help you, fine. But I'm not going to do it on purpose. I'm not going to sit there and try to fix you knowing that you don't want to be fixed. I don't know.
All right. Okay. We get it. We get it. But now let's move on. Let's move on to another topic. How are we all dealing with the COVID situation?
Oh, the vid. The vid.
I'm
Well, the
fully
vaccine.
vaccinated.
You are? Oh, that's
Yeah.
a shame. Anyway, go ahead.
So am I. I took two of
But
Moderna.
I got
Peer pressure.
Pfizer.
Vaccinated too.
Peer pressure. That's why he's vaccinated.
What do you mean peer pressure? What do you mean by
Peer
that?
pressure. His woman made him. Oh man, she beat the shit.
All right.
out
First of all, these are single women on the show. I don't want you,
well,
ixnay on the girlfriend
if
snay.
you're around an environment where people are going to push you, then you're going to do it. Everybody in my house is vaccinated. My wife, my kids.
And guess who isn't, ladies? Guess
I'm
who
not
is not vaccinated?
And I'm not going to be vaccinated.
Here we go.
That's
Here we
not
go.
me.
Why?
I'm not happening. I don't trust the medical profession at all. At all. Not one iota. Nothing. My doctor, I told him, because I have to see my doctors every 6 months, right? Because I'm a veteran, and they want, you, and I'm like, I don't trust you. I don't, that, right? They're like, oh, well, you have to, yeah, I dig it. I mean, you're cool and everything, but hey, man, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm not buying this game. I mean, it's a game. It's a game, and we just the pawns. To me, that's the way I feel. Alan says it's a conspiracy thing. No, I don't think it's a conspiracy thing. I just think that the rich all want to control you no matter what. And rich people come in all colors, whether you like it or not. I mean, you can believe that or don't believe it, but they come in all colors. Okay, in this country, most of them are white, but hey, it is what it is. You could be rich if you want.
How do the rich people control us?
How? You just took the vaccine, didn't you? Well, that's how they control you.
What are they controlling me to do?
Well, you just took the vaccine, didn't you? Did you vaccinate yourself?
Yeah.
Then you're controlled.
They controlled me to vaccinate, but I don't see the harm in that.
No, I'm going to ask you a question. Why did you get vaccinated?
Yeah, why?
Because I had COVID before and I didn't want to get it again.
Okay.
Because it was horrible.
Do you know once your body gets COVID, you get antibodies in it already. So you really don't need a vaccine.
Right. I got the Johnson & Johnson because they said it was the best for young people who've already had COVID because it was, but yeah, there's 3 different strains of COVID though. So
well,
I could get it again.
Again,
it's not foolproof. No,
we don't know if it's true. All we know is what they're telling us. Because if you notice something, COVID came in and the flu went out. Explain that one.
Because we were wearing masks.
No, mask got nothing. The mask ain't doing nothing for you.
It was because you're wearing masks.
Your particles aren't getting in other people's faces.
Yeah. Bad breath went away too. Did you ever notice that? Nobody's complaining about. Oh, he got the worst. Nobody.
I'll tell you what the mask did. The mask did good things. Like for instance, the mask covered up a lot of ugly people. For real, no lie. There's ugly people that wear masks. Keep it on. It's good. The mask also enhanced a business called eyelashes. So now, everybody wear eyelashes. The lipstick business went down because of the mask. So that was a bad thing. So is that wearing a mask is something, it's a habit now. So it's still a form of control, because if you look at the population that were infected by COVID and the fatality rate is still the same rate as the flu, but we didn't go crazy over the flu. And if you want to see an epidemic, which way before you girls were around, the AIDS epidemic, now that shit was scary. That's when they should shut down things down right there. The AIDS, that was scary. Everybody I know that got AIDS died. Everybody. Now, I mean, I'm not talking about maybe 1 or 2, because if you get we used to call that the cosmic dog. Oh, he was bit by the cosmic dog. You get bit by the cosmic dog, you're going to die. Sorry, that's the way it works. That's not happening in COVID.
But Julio, you and I have discussed this, so I'm not attacking you. I don't think it, because even if I am, you have a defense. I think we've discussed this, and I appreciate you're saying it's a conspiracy, but exactly, I think that goes to what Elsa said. Who's doing it and how do they benefit? I don't get it, unless you're saying the people who are producing the vaccine really want it to be this way because they're going to make billions of dollars or something. Is that what you're getting at? I don't think that's what you're getting at.
No, I don't think the control is that. I think the control is not so. See, well, first of all, the pharmaceutical business is a $1 trillion business. $1 trillion business. We all know that. I mean, unless you read a lot, right, Ilsa? And it's $1 trillion business. It's crazy. It's crazy business. Now, you're telling me that you're afraid of COVID or something you don't see, You don't know when you're going to get it. You don't know if you have it. But if you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you that you have COVID, you believe it because you're not a scientist. I mean, unless you know how to go into the lab and figure it out, then you can actually see the little crown, and it has the little, it has the little proteins on the top that attach to a cell. And then what happens when it attaches to a cell, it actually penetrates the wall. So what happens is that mirrors into something else because you have what you call a viral load. Now, a viral load outnumbers the white blood cells, and that's how you get sick. Okay, that's the way it works. But that works with any virus, not just COVID. It works any virus, because people say you kill a virus. You can't kill a virus. A virus can only be dismantled.
So you don't get the flu vaccine either. Just curiosity.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I got it. I got it like 16 years ago, and I got sick. I mean, real sick. And I said, that's it. I ain't taking none of this crap, because believe me, when I went in the military, they shot us with everything but the kitchen sink. We got, because we were overseas, we had to go to Southeast Asia, South America, and Europe. We got shot up all the time. And, at that time, you think about it, you get online, they shoot you. But then again, I'm not my own. We're part of the UCMJ. In other words, we have no say-so. There was no say-so. We wasn't civilians. We were part of the UCMJ, which means the Uniform Code of Military Justice. That means we are what you call GI, government issue. That means they could do whatever the hell they want with us. They could put us in the war. They could throw us a gas. They could experiment with us. They could do whatever the hell they want, because we signed that waiver. Now, this is what's happening right now, because when you go out there and you believe your doctor, hey, you what you call government issue. That's what you are. And unfortunately, young people don't need the COVID shot. I don't know why young people don't need it. Old farts, they need them. And old people too worry about it. They're on their way out anyway. What's the difference? You don't need a shot. Like, what the hell? My mother-in-law's freaking out. And me and Alan figured something out. Now we don't have a problem with people afraid of COVID. Now we have a mental issue, because people are so scared. Like, they can't, like, oh, you put the mask on. You put the mask on. I live in Connecticut, and they just like eliminated the mask, right? So, people walk around, but people still walking around with masks. Now I'm driving around and I see somebody in a car by themselves with a mask on. Does that make sense?
I'm guilty of that. I just forget.
No, take it off.
They probably forgot.
Your pretty faces. Come on, man. We want to see it. I don't want to see no mask. I want to see some mugs. See the mugs out there. Get it.
You want full frontal face.
Full frontal. I need to see no mask. Oh, look at me.
I think I'm hilarious. By the way, I'm reminding everybody on the show that it's a comedy show. So
just a comedy show. Don't worry about it. Like, it's all good. And your opinions, I'm not changing your mind. You're gonna do whatever you're gonna do anyway. But then again, remember, I'm from New York. You're from Chicago, and you're from the West Coast, San Diego. 3 different regions, and we all think and both of you think kind of similar. You know what I mean? You're young, and and now not just you, the East Coast too. They do the same thing. I live in Connecticut, and there's a lady was standing in a restaurant, and people that came out without a mask, she was like, put your goddamn mask on. Put your mask on. You're like, you better be careful who you say that to, because, like, not everybody's going to ignore you, if you know what I mean. Not everybody, like, mind your business.
Well, that person probably wants to get into a fight.
Yeah, but, like, look, if you're not wearing a mask and I'm afraid of getting COVID from you, I'm just going to move away from you. That's all. Like, I don't need to tell you anything. Who am I? I'm like, I can't tell you to put on a mask.
Did ladies, in all this diatribe from Julio, did either one of you hear the nexus of his theory about conspiracy? Because usually when you have conspirators, they're going for an objective, okay? Or they want, like he says, they want to control you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
No,
I didn't hear him say who's behind this horrible, he calls it a scamdemic. What do you call it? A scamdemic? Scamdemic. I don't know who, I mean, I've thought it through, and I don't get, even like the Chinese, okay? I do believe
they're the worst, the Chinese.
Oh, all right, okay. Can I finish? My God. We only got 2 hours. I mean, we have this show, and then we're doing a back-to-back so that we don't have to do this again for a few weeks. And for good reason, ladies, as you can see. my point is, I believe that the Chinese, believe it or not, now it's come to light that the Americans have supplied money to that lab out in Wuhan. It's obvious that it came from that lab. It's obvious that the Chinese are going to cover it up. And even though I'm ethnically, my father was Chinese, I don't care. It's like saying to an Italian, hey, you know, you only eat pizza and spaghetti. And that's true. However,
So do I.
no lie. However, I don't, just because that goes back to what we were saying at the beginning of the show. Just because you're from a certain ethnic background doesn't mean you don't have to identify with that, or you don't have to feel insulted or put upon, unless people are physically attacking you because of what you appear to be, just because it's Chinese that are doing it. I'm telling you flat out, it's Chinese that did it. But I don't see how it benefited them. Okay, if you say there's a conspiracy, okay, the Chinese are behind it. Okay, Julio, how does this benefit them in any way?
Well, it's like this. In the world of business, oil is only bought with American dollars. Only with American dollars. You cannot buy oil with Chinese money. You cannot buy oil with Russian money. You cannot buy oil with any money except US dollars. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yes.
I know you can't buy it with Bitcoin because
No, you can't buy nothing with Bitcoin. Forget Bitcoin. It's all
you know,
bullshit.
Elon Musk just knocked it down about 25. All right, but anyway, okay. What's your point? I asked about COVID, and now I'm into.
The point is this.
I'm into oil now. I don't get it.
I can't say there's a conspiracy because there is nobody. I can't blame a particular person or a group because I don't know. I'm just saying. But if you think yourself and go, wait a minute, if the fatality rate of COVID is less than 1%, then why are we having a pandemic? Now, people are saying, well, I personally lost my aunt, or I lost my, my friends, or yeah, you did. That happens. I'm not saying it happened, but I personally lost people that had cancer, had the flu, had pneumonia. But I'm not going to say, well, let's stop everything, stop all the presses. Right now, people are bankrupt. Right now, people don't want to go back to work because the government is giving money. Why? Why are they doing that? You keep them home? So you think that's safe? You think it's safe? Most people want to stay home anyway. If you're going to pay me $600 a week and I make $300 a week at work, why should I go to work?
Well, that's a good question. Why should you go to work if you get 600?
Why should I go to work? I won't go to work. No, I don't want to go to work.
So you want people to work for less money than the government can afford to give us?
No.
That doesn't make any sense.
If
the government's going to give us money, we want the money. I want the money. I would like to be paid that 600.
I don't want the government to give them any money. But that's me. I don't think the government should.
That's because you stuck at your job. That's why you feel that way.
No, not because look, I could have quit anytime I wanted. Like I could. Oh, I'm not coming to work, and they will have to give me unemployment and give me whatever. I don't want to do that. I don't be waiting for no.
All right, let's ask the ladies.
Ladies, what do you think
about this unemployment? Is it really stifling the economy? Let's hear from Jamie first.
I personally believe, this may be naive of me, but the government should help its people. I guess there could be repercussions in the future, but that'd be something to figure out. I just never thought that withholding money from people that needed it would benefit us in any way. I feel like that's selfish. And I feel like if people needed help, their government should help them. Basically, that's my standpoint on it. With unemployment, I know you've seen recently how a lot of businesses are very short-staffed because people aren't going to work. They don't want to work for $14 an hour anymore. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think that's fair. I don't think that anyone should be living paycheck to paycheck. I think that if people need assistance, that they are, for lack of a better word, entitled to that. I don't see the problem with it, me personally. I don't know if that's me thinking a little commie or whatever, but
you're communist. It's okay. I understand.
Ilsa, what do you think?
So what do you think?
I totally 100% agree. I was on unemployment throughout when we had to stay home because I'm a waitress. And that was just the best. It was amazing. I was making great money just sitting at home, like not having to deal with those thankless customer facing jobs, which is what you get paid to do minimum wage. It's a customer facing job. It's one of the hardest jobs you can do. Waitressing is the hardest job ever. Like, it's so hard dealing with people, being on your feet, working long hours, very little pay. It's one of the most thankless jobs in the entire world. Working at friggin' McDonald's, Hardee's, things like that. Yeah, they're thankless jobs. You don't want to work at Walmart for 11, 12, $13 an hour when the CEO is making, millions of dollars a year, and Costco pays their workers what, like, at the bottom rate is like $15 an hour, but most people that work at Costco make more than that, but yet Walmart can't afford it just because the Costco CEO took a pay cut. I totally believe that. I'm a big, like, Bernie Sanders, like, stan, and he's always talking about how we're the richest country. Like, how can we not pay our lowest paid workers more? Like, why is our minimum wage so low that people have to live paycheck to paycheck, that they have to go on food stamps and get government subsidies because they're working 40 hours a week, but they can't afford to feed their family? Like, why can't we just pay them a living wage when we're the richest country? Doesn't make any sense.
Okay. I mean, the points are good because it's the because you have the advantage. When you were home, you had the advantage. But how about the people that didn't stay home? They didn't have the advantage. You're not worrying about them. You're still worrying about yourself. And so are you. You're worried about you. And Bernie, by the way, Bernie Sanders, he's a hypocrite. Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. So he ain't got to worry
Yeah,
about
but he wants everybody to have money. He's going after the billionaires. There could be a lot more millionaires in this world if it was just tipped a little bit more fair. Like, we need to stop. Like,
Do you want
we
to be a
bailed out
billionaire?
Wall Street. Like, come
You want
on,
to be a
like, let's
billionaire?
help the people.
I mean, you could be a billionaire if you want. I mean, you could.
But you have to kind of, like, step on your workers.
Yeah, exactly.
People are greedy. I think all billionaires are greedy.
Well, it's not that they're greedy. When you say billionaires, you think it's a personal thing. It's business. In the rate of business, like, for instance, when Donald Trump put the thing with the corporation tax, when he dropped it, they're like, oh, it's only for the millionaires. Do you know that about 95% of incorporations in this country are not with millionaires or billionaires? They're normally just regular people that have a job, and and they incorporate and they work and they have work people. That's 95%. So,
but then there are those, like, big companies that do have the billionaires, because I'm all for small business owners and people starting their own businesses and having their own companies. Like, absolutely, I'm all for that. They need to do that.
Right.
But they have a right to become millionaires, and these billionaires need to start paying their fair share. There's too many loopholes in the tax system for them.
Of course there is, because you only know what they tell you. I'm not an accountant. Unless you're an accountant, maybe you can figure it out. But the whole
I know that if you make like $50,000 a year, your taxes, about $3,000 of them go to corporate subsidies, and about $15 goes to, like, food stamps and stuff. So if you're mad about paying high taxes, like, you're mad at the wrong people.
Well, I mean, that's the point. You don't know what people to be mad at. That's why you have to worry about
the corporations, because they're taking most of your tax money.
No, you got to give me, when you say corporation, what name are you associating that? Because, okay, when you have a corporation, it's not you. The entity is not yourself. The entity of a corporation is to have a board, and then the board makes decisions, and then you have stockholders, you have common, you have preferred. So if you break down the business part of it, you might understand it more. But unfortunately, most people, and I say most, have no idea how a corporation, like, you have corporations, even when you incorporate, do you want a C corporation, LLC? I mean, what kind of corporation do you want? And you're like, okay, which is the corporations I can sell? You have an S corporation, you have a C, and then you have a LLC. So which corporation is better for you? And even that has its own entity. So it all depends on who is. Walmart is not one person. Walmart is stockholders. Walmart, if you have a stockholder at Walmart, that's Walmart. Costco's, they're stockholders. Ford, stockholders. They're all billionaires. Of course, the CEO gets what you call a salary and a bonus, whatever it is. They're millionaires. You're right. They're millionaires. But they're not going to give it to you. It's like, like we were discussing with JT the other night. It's like, because you're a black millionaire doesn't mean you got to go help black people. Doesn't mean that. Because it's your money. You do whatever you want with it. It's yours. You don't got to like stop. Oh, let me help these people. No. And anyway, if you're going to help somebody, don't tell
you don't
nobody.
have to help people with your money, but you can and you
It helps.
should.
It helps. I mean, if I was to send you $1 million, you'd be happy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of
I'd
course.
be happy.
Yeah, you'd be happy.
I'd be so happy. Send it
So
over.
at the end of the day, it is about money. It's not about whether you're white, black, opportunity. It's about money, because if you are.
Notice how Julio's spinning, and I only asked a simple question: who's behind the conspiracy?
We don't know, Alan. Neither do you.
I don't think there's a conspiracy. I really don't think
It
that.
doesn't matter whether it's a conspiracy. It's just a whole realm of how people just follow each other and then want to blame others for their failures. It's like, people fail all the time, but it doesn't mean you're going to stop. It doesn't mean you're going to stop living. What, you're going to stop living?
But I don't know how that ties into the COVID.
Well, the COVID is
and the control. You said there was
COVID is a
control.
scam. Listen to me. COVID is a goddamn scam, because the fatality rate does not equal the number. It's a numbers game. It's not killing 100 million people. If it was killing 100 million people, I could see that, but it's not. It's not killing. What did it kill? 600,000 people. 600,000 people died the year before too. Now what? If you look at the numbers, look at all the numbers.
Well, people, you and I agree on this, Julio.
Yeah.
If I can get like 5 sentences in straight ahead, and I'm going to say them now. So please, just let me say my 5 sentences. Then you can go back to spouting. But people are going to die. It's the nature of the human condition. The medical profession, I feel, has brainwashed, if you will, the people in America, because people who live in other countries where they face death every day and the potential for death, or at least serious injury or disease or whatever, or natural catastrophes, they understand death. And Americans like to shunt it away. That's why we have cemeteries away. Once you accept that people are going to die, it makes it a lot easier to deal with these types of situations, I think. But if you don't accept death as a natural condition to life, then you've got a problem. And I agree with and Julio and I obviously have talked a lot about this. I agree that it's almost like COVID took over death. Like death said, okay, COVID, you're in charge now. And so everyone's worried about COVID. And we forget about, even almost forgetting about cancer, almost forgetting about heart attack and heart disease, almost forget this, that, and the other thing. But it's a natural condition for people to die. So if you don't die of COVID, you may die of something else. No, undoubtedly you will die. All of us on this panel are going to die. Do we all?
I'm not dying.
Well, except for Julio, because he didn't take the shot. All of us took the shot. We're all going to die.
Julio
is going to prove us wrong, and he's going to prove himself right. And in 2089, he's going to go. I remember this girl, Ilsa.
She's dead.
Yeah, yeah. And Alan Chan, who accepted death,
right
he's dead.
She's dead. They're all dead. What about you, Julio?
And JT, she made it pretty good, but she 20 years ago, boom,
she's
it's
out.
over.
She's going out. And they'll say, Julio, what's your secret? My secret is I want to collect Social Security longer. Then I want to piss off Social. They want to check out who. Dude, you're 280 years old. I know, and I look the same. Don't I look good for 280 years old? Like, yeah. I want that money. I want that money. I want it back. I want it back. They're like, so Social Security, that's the way to get them back. You know how you get back Social Security? You live a long time. You know how you get back the medical industry? you don't get sick. That's it. Just don't get sick. You know, like you want the
Get them back.
you know,
Get them back.
just don't die. Don't get sick. And like for instance, you know, like you have high rate crime, right? They say in Black communities, and the problem with that is don't get caught. If you get caught, then they're gonna have a statistics. If you don't get caught, then nobody knows. You understand what I mean? So don't get caught. If you're gonna do the crime, don't get caught. I'm not saying that you're not gonna get caught, but most people get caught. I don't do the crime because I'm afraid I'm going to get caught. I just don't want to get caught. I mean,
and why wouldn't the answer be, as I said to you on the phone the other day, why wouldn't the answer be don't do the crime, not don't get caught?
No. It's better if you don't do the crime. That way the chances of you getting in trouble, because you might get in trouble anyway, even if you don't do the crime. You could be standing there sleeping on the couch, cops come in and shoot you. You know what I mean? Things happen. That happens. I'm pretty sure we read about that, right? She was sleeping or whatever, the cops going in. They shoot, but no,
Yeah.
everybody forgot about the boyfriend shooting at them, and they just returned fire.
No, the boyfriend did not shoot at them. He didn't get a chance.
Well, he pulled out the gun. That was enough. Anyway,
He went for the gun. He went for
he
it.
went for the gun.
He was
and,
in his
one led to
house.
the other. And
Yeah, he
another
was
thing-
in his house and he didn't know that the cops were after him, even though he was a drug
and-
dealer.
and
It was in the
But
middle of the night.
And this new thing about police brutality, ladies.
okay.
Police brutality been
All right,
around
okay,
for
I'm going to ask you.
long.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there only because we have another show to tape, and I want to, believe it or not, because I know it's going to veer into 5 other subjects, and we're really coming up to the end of this particular episode of It's NWB. I hope it has been, ladies, no holds barred. I think it has been for Julio. I don't know. I felt very barred. I was able to argue myself into 5 sentences at least.
Yeah.
But on the next show, I promise you, if you stick around, Ilsa, because Ilsa, you have to stick around, JT, you're a cast member. If you stick around, I promise you're going to get a lot more time, because Julio covered a lot of ground. And personally, I don't know what he's talking about, a lot of it. I really.
Yeah, Ilsa, stick around.
Okay, sure.
All right, good.
Why
Good. And also, Ilsa, I noticed on a personal note, you had sent your tape in and I loved it. But your hair was done different. How do you pick out how you wear your hair that day? It looked very short on the tape.
Ponytail.
What?
I was wearing a ponytail in my hair.
Oh, okay.
That's why
Okay.
it looked short. I don't know.
But how did you decide to come on the show today with your hair down?
I thought it was an audition. I didn't know I was gonna be all doing this stuff. So I don't really know.
It's the
You
real
look
Ilsa.
great.
It's me, yeah.
And JT, I didn't know your hair was this long, but we talked on the phone. We really didn't talk,
It's
the video.
extensions. Don't be fooled.
Oh, it's
I don't know.
I need
extension.
to get
Oh,
I was
man.
talking to JT. I thought she was white. I didn't know. Like, I don't know.
All right. Well, when we come back, we'll find out if she is white. And it's been NWB, our first episode. We're coming back for more, so stay tuned in episode 2. Thanks a lot, people. Bye-bye.